Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Today we're going to be watching the new Season 2 studio broadcast from TREYARCH, which features a bunch of the Zombies devs, which is really exciting because we haven't really had a chance to see them talk to us in an extended format so far, and that's changing today. We're going to get an insight into Corky Lemcool's creative process, for example, with Outbreak, and plenty more. So let's just jump straight into it here.
Now, when you talk about amazing experiences in Season 2, it's impossible not to talk about zombies as well.
Yes.
So, here to talk about all things undead, including Outbreak, are members of the Zombies team, Corky, Kevin, Craig. Gentlemen, welcome.
Wow, he's had his coffee this morning. Crikey. Okay, let's do it.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, there we go.
Hi, John.
You guys. Craig, we're going to kick things off with you. Season 2 sees a continuation of the Dark Aether storyline. If you could, bring us along on the journey from Season 1 to where we find ourselves now in Season 2.
Well, I think I said in one of the last streams that, Die Machina really was kind of a story that was built on the past. The Requiem team finding out what had gone on during World War II and the experiments that have led to these dimensional breaches from the Dark Aether. And then when we moved into Firebase C, it was much more of a kind of current active situation with characters in the level, obviously Ravenov and Dr. Peck we all got to meet. And I think narratively, this really shows just the scale at which this Cold War arms race between Requiem and Omega is starting to boil over. We've teased a little bit about the Ural Mountains, and these large-scale breaches are going to be the kind of battleground for investigation and scientific experiments to make sure that Requiem do not fall even further behind Omega than they already have.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you talk about...
Okay, yeah, so I think what's happening here is Craig's talking broad strokes, right? I would love to hear from him a little bit more about individual character stories and things like that, because it's all well and good being like, Requiem is generally doing this, and Omega is generally doing that, but I think where players are really going to connect with the new Aether or Dark Aether story is in the smaller scale, more personal stories, like Samantha's time in the Dark Aether, talking about those sorts of things. And like, obviously he has to be very general here because he's talking for the widest audience possible. So I get it. I'm just saying, like, if we get a chance to hear Craig talk a little bit about, especially Samantha, that's a character that's going to be near and dear to his heart. So I would love that personally.
Large scale, it seems like that really tees things up for the big experience this season, which is Outbreak, right? And Corky, maybe, you could tell us a little bit more about what Outbreak is all about and what's in store.
So for those of you that don't know who Corky is, all right, I've actually come with some fun facts for you today. No nonsense fun facts from MrRoflWaffles. Corky has been working at TREYARCH for 16 years. He was originally a Marvel pencil artist, I believe, and he then started working at Grey Matter, which got rolled into and kind of absorbed into TREYARCH. And he's been the creative director in Zombies kind of basically throughout the duration of the mode existing. Like since World at War, he has helped creative direct it. So he's an OG.
I've been the creative director on Zombies since World at War, and
there you go.
it's always come up every project like, hey, let's do an open world Zombies. And I'm just really excited that for Cold War we had the opportunity to do this. You're able to complete objectives and build your power as you go.
I think it's important to say that this mode is an entirely new way to experience zombies.
So this is Kevin Drew, and I've caught him on a terrible freeze frame there. I have more no-nonsense fun facts for Kevin. Kevin has been at the studio for 14 years. He first worked on Zombies, at least, on Mob of the Dead, and then worked extensively on Origins as well. He creative directed Zetsubou and Ancient Evil. What a classic map, even though it was Chaos, so people didn't really like it at the time. But Ancient Evil's a great map, don't get me wrong. And he is one of the key designers on Outbreak. Let's keep it going.
For the first time ever, you're in these massive spaces.
Look at that. Wow.
You're moving through them. As opposed to zombies coming to you, you're moving and exploring and discovering things along the way, and you're encountering zombies and enemies. And what is driving you that entire time is completing these objectives that Requiem has sent you in there to finish. Along the way, you're going to encounter familiar enemies, but at the same time, some brand new enemies that we haven't seen in Cold War. The first is the Tempest, which is this electrical crystalline being.
The Tempest is its name. All right. I like that.
That really plays to the strengths of this mode because he tosses projectiles at you and warps around within the massive space. And then we also have Krasny Soldat. We find ourselves constantly losing time.
The who now?
When we're playing the game, we're just sitting there and having fun and exploring and driving and using jump pads to parachute.
I think the fact that Kevin mentioned driving, it just changes things. There's something very satisfying about plowing the vehicles into a horde of zombies and seeing them ragdoll out of the way. That's fun.
Tell us a little bit more about how tier 4 and tier 5 abilities kind of get unlocked and expand the gameplay.
Okay.
Through Requiem advancements, we've been able to expand the powers of all of our skills. So there are now tier 4 and 5, and you have to go discover and find 2 new types of crystals to unlock these, the refined and flawless. This has been an awesome opportunity to go and look at all the various skills, the content, the perks, the field upgrades, and find ways to strengthen them. For example, all the ammo mods, now they're tier 4s, allow the ammo mod to affect specials. So what that means is now you could potentially brain rot a Mangler or a Tempest or even a Mimic.
That is the most exciting thing for me, is that brain rot and turning a
that's
Mimic
so cool.
and having them fight on your side for once.
Yeah.
And a Mangler. It's really cool.
See, I thought Kevin was just listing off his nicknames for you and me, Corky.
Okay, Craig.
Craig always comes in with he's got to be there with the jokes every time, dude. This man is relentless.
Over to you now. What are you most excited about?
I am neither refined nor flawless. But no, again, I was saying before, it really does continue the story. So we actually get to see our supporting cast, you know, Dr. Strauss, Dr. Gray, and Major Carver. They've got objectives that need to be carried out. You know, there's a narrative element that I think is kind of fun, because it is more of a military and scientific operation where you are undertaking these various tasks and experiments and objectives that are going to hopefully give Requiem a better insight into how they can use and potentially harness the powers of the Dark Aether, rather than just having to react to it.
Right.
Samantha Maxis makes an appearance this season as an operator. If you could tell us a little bit more about what that appearance is all about, how that works.
Yes.
Maxis has been in the field, you know, throughout the entirety of our Cold War story. And unfortunately, in Firebase C, Dr. William Peck confessed to throwing her into the Dark Aether. And she's been in there for an indeterminate period of time, because we've already explained that time moves differently within the Dark Aether. So when she comes back, she's definitely changed. I think the first thing that people will definitely see is that her eyes look pretty cool. They have, you know, elements of the Dark Aether within them, but
I've got to say, she looks so freaking awesome, man. She just looks so goddamn cool. Like, oh, man.
Part of the ongoing story is going to be just a little bit about what has happened to her and what that would mean for the future. After the events of Firebase C, she's also going to become a playable operator, not just in zombies, but across our other modes as well. And I'm looking forward to that enormously, just because I know it has been requested.
Kevin, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the Death Machine that should be coming along here in season 2 as well.
I think this is a zombies classic. It makes its return this game to unleash devastation against the Horde. And it's going to be super useful to have this in some of these objectives and Outbreak, where they're in interior environments and you can't necessarily rely on the air-based support.
I know that in season 2, the team begins introducing some new weapon skills, some specials, some launchers. What's in store for players on that front?
Right.
So as we kind of open up the play space, and we've been adding more and more specials and elites, the special and launchers weapons will gain weapon skills that allow them to deal more damage to higher difficulty enemies, as well as like deal more damage to their armor. So now this is kind of a new option, is like, I want to bring a launcher or the crossbow around, because it's actually very good at taking out the Megaton or the Krasny Soldat. So it adds a lot of value to those weapon classes. The newest field upgrade that we're going to be adding to the mode is Frenzy Guard. What it does is it draws the attention of all the zombies in the area, so they'll attack you. But as you power it up, it gives you all of these tools to deal with the entire horde attacking you. So it's replenishing your armor, and eventually at its highest power, it's slowing all the zombies in the area.
So for those of you that don't know, Frenzy Guard, you activate it, all the zombies run towards you for 10 seconds, and you only take armor damage, and then there are upgrades for it, like you said. Like, you activate it and it replenishes all your armor, various other things as well that he's no doubt going to discuss here.
And it's extremely useful in objectives where you have a situation where potentially, you know, a lot of zombies are attacking the defend console, and you just want to pull them all off and make sure that, you know, you're going to be able to complete that objective.
Just out of curiosity, as the team has been playtesting Outbreak, what are you most interested in people being able to play themselves?
Someone on the team who shall remain nameless talked about a game they had last week and described it as the most intense, frightening experience they'd ever had in zombies, when they were trying to exfil after they felt they'd been doing great, but they described the experience of running up a hill, feeling that they were about to get out of there and everything was fine, and then were met with a advancing horde on a scale that we don't really see in the kind of more room-based, corridor-based kind of typical round-based maps.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us today.
Wow.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
And that brings us to multiplayer.
No, it doesn't. It brings us to the end of the video. Damn, okay. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that we had already heard, to be fair. But good to hear the team talk. I want to see more like zombies devs getting to discuss the decisions they've made and the things that they're bringing into the game. I think that would be just a really, really fantastic addition to what has already been a brilliant year for zombies support. Like a brilliant, brilliant year so far. So I'm a happy man. I'm going to just tell you to drop a like on the video here and we can wrap things up, all right? See you in the next one, guys. I'm going to be making a full news video about all the new weapon tiers and all the new stuff now. So I'm going to get to work. I'll see you in that video. It's probably linked on the screen right now. Bye for now.